11-0. They have outscored their adversaries. Looking to add to it. Lazar to the cup for two. Carly Lazar. 4:22 back set. Here is the winner for Ellie Cook. There goes Strong with it. Oh, how about that? I'm always pretty well here to right. Going back to Gilpin and it's gone. A grand slam.
And welcome into another season preview here on the Carlow Sports Network, talking women's soccer. I'm Sean Meyers, joined by Allen Duda, entering his 5th season at the helm of the ladies here at Carlow. First off, Allen, how have you been in the off season?
Been doing good. Excited to be here. Thanks for doing this, obviously.
Always excited to talk to you. That means that we're getting ready for another school year to begin and all the athletics that come with it. Your team last year on the women's side did take a step back in terms of the record. Overall, 3-12-1. What were the biggest takeaways that you had from last season?
I think the team morale still stayed high. We played with competitiveness. We didn't quit. We had a couple bumps in the road, especially playing some big teams that were ranked pretty high in the NAIA. So it was a good test for us, but the girls didn't quit battling.
Well, you talk about playing some really good teams. You opened your season against some terrific opponents in Florida, so I'm sure it was nice to head south. This year, you stayed more local in the region for your games. So what factors into when you make decisions like that?
Just looking at the rest of the schedule, with us moving to a different conference in another year, that played a factor. Just scheduling some local teams that are playing in the AMCC.
What has been your area of focus for this team throughout the offseason?
Still, we were looking for some help up top. Scoring goals has been an issue last couple years. Defensively, we've been strong, but still brought in some new players defensively. Midfield is always a good, challenge for us to find some midfielders and goalkeepers. So pretty much each position we were looking at.
You spend a lot of time with these players, but I would say at least half of the year you're not able to kind of watch what they're doing necessarily. How do you develop a plan to help them hone their skills throughout the off-season?
Yeah, we have an off-season plan, just the conditioning and touches on the ball. Some of the girls do get together off-season, kick the ball around, and meet each other just to get that team continuity together.
You graduated some very accomplished players from last year's team, names like Allison McLaughlin, Maggie Swartz, Michaela Pry, Corey Murray, Abby Marinucci. What are you going to remember most about that group that's moved on?
That's a special group in my heart. That was one of my first recruiting classes. So seeing them succeed through school and graduate was, it's a bittersweet to see them go. They're great for this team, this program. They're going to be missed.
So obviously you talk about the quality of people that they are, and I'm sure that they're going to have a lot of success away from the game of soccer. But in terms of the void that's left on the pitch, how do you try to replace that?
Just a lot of local talent that we have this year that came in to play with us. There's talent here in Pittsburgh. So our focus this year was local, to bring and try and replace some of those players that we had.
So the players who move on, you now look ahead to the players you have back. Who are the key returners that you'll be counting on?
Key returners, Natalie, DiGiorno, Haley, Huber, Aaron Thompson, Sarah Thompson as well. So we have some key players coming back that are going to help this team.
Players move on, that means there's spots to fill for players who are now new to the program, whether they be transferring in or they're freshmen. So who are the promising newcomers, and what are the expectations overall that you have for the additions?
Yeah, a few of the new ones we have. Tiana Torres is a transfer in for us. Chloe Keller, expecting big things from her. Eve Hornick is a first-year player. Got a couple new ones on defense. Cam Warner is going to be a nice player. Maddie Line. Yeah, we brought in some key players to help fix that void we had.
So you've had a pretty big roster over the years here with the women, and that has allowed you to create a reserve team that's given some playing time to those developing players. Have you seen that pay dividends?
Yeah, it has. It's been a nice development with some of the players that aren't quite at the collegiate level yet. So having that development squad, it's really helped.
What have you had in terms of the team goals that you've set here for 2022?
I think to just keep battling like we are. Love to get into the conference playoffs. We are moving to a new conference, so we schedule some games with them just to compete with them to be ready for that conference as well.
Yeah, you're going to be heading to the AMCC, but River State's conference, what do you have in terms of the outlook?
I'd like to see us making the playoffs. I think we're going to be right in the mix if we can stay healthy. Players are looking well, playing together. We've got some good team bonding, and they've really gelled.
So heading to the NCAA and the AMCC pretty soon. I know that's on the horizon. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
I was kind of excited about it. It's going to give us an opportunity for those local rivalries that we have. There's a lot of schools local that play in that conference, so excited for that rivalry. It's nice because friends, family can go to the away games now because they're close. So, yeah, excited to be in that.
Yeah, heading to La Roche or Pitt Greensburg a lot easier than heading out to the state of Indiana,
Yeah,
I would
true.
assume. I know you mentioned some of this already. What were the goals when you came up with the non-conference schedule here?
Basically to play those teams in the AMCC. We're also playing a few of the USCAA teams, which is another tournament that hopefully we can bid for that national championship as well. So looked at those kind of games to play just to prepare us for that AMCC.
You kept most of your coaching staff intact. You have Aaron and Don back, and then you added Carl, who's been a longtime assistant for the men's team as well. What's the significance of that continuity?
Yeah, I think with Carl, he's been part of Carlow University for a long time. I believe he's going into his 8th season with soccer, and he's been interacting with both the men and the women's programs while he's been here, so he's going to be a great asset to this program.
I know it's still early on. Might be better served to answer this when the season wraps up, but what do you think is unique or special about this year's team?
With the women's team, it's just they are really working hard, and they're really getting along. It's been a great preseason that we've had for the start. But, yeah, excited to get playing, get going.
Awesome. Allen, thank you so much for doing this. Always great to talk to you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
That's Allen Duda, head coach for women's soccer. We continue here on the season preview talking women's soccer at Carlow University. I'm now joined by a senior, Natalie DiGiorno. Natalie, thank you so much for doing this. And how's everything gone for you throughout the offseason?
It's gone pretty good. I put in a lot more work in the fitness aspect this season, and I just feel I came in overall more prepared than I have in the past.
Well, whatever you did last year seemed to work well. You led the team in goals and points. What was the key to that success?
Going into last year, I knew it was going to be a big year for me. We're losing seniors, so I knew that as a junior I needed to step up. I just think a lot of it had to do with my effort and just giving everything I had.
I know you talked a little bit about how you've worked this offseason. What was your area of focus for improvement?
Fitness was definitely an area of improvement that I focused on. I definitely felt I could be in better shape than I was last season. I also wanted to focus a lot more on shooting and finishing, so hopefully I can translate that into this season.
In what areas do you think the team might be better this year as opposed to a year ago?
I think we have a very cohesive group. The energy is really good. It's very positive. We all get along really well, so that's something I'm really looking forward to this year.
So already highlighted, you're in your senior season. Who are maybe some of the leaders that this team's going to lean upon?
I think Haley, myself, Aaron Thompson, Amber. We have a lot of leaders on this team, and it's good to see some of the younger girls stepping up into those roles as well.
You were one of the many players who were WPIAL products on this roster. Did you have relationships with any of your teammates before you came to Carlow?
Yeah, so on my Bethel Park team, I knew Aaron Thompson, Sarah Thompson, Harley Vinsler, Tiana. I knew of Haley. We played against her, and Elizabeth. They were at Baldwin, so yeah.
So it made the transition a little easier, I'm sure, coming
Yes.
collegiately. What goals have you set individually and collectively for this year?
Like I said before, individually I just want to be the best player that I can be and let everything out on the field this year since it is my last year. For the team, always looking to make playoffs and just working well as a team.
To which match or matches are you most looking forward?
Always Point Park. That's always a good match. I know we play them here, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we're here at Highmark, and so I know you play a few different places, but it seems like this is a special environment. What do you like so much about playing here?
Just the environment that we're in. I feel like it makes us all feel kind of important, and that we're in the middle of the city.
Pretty nice backdrop.
Yeah, and it's just a great place for all of our fans to come and cheer us on.
So you have a new assistant coach on staff, Carl Zappa, who has been with the men's team for quite a while. What has he brought to this table?
Carl's very motivating. He pushes us to be better, and you can tell with the points he makes and the comments that he makes that he's looking out for our best interest, which I really like, except when he makes new push-ups. I don't enjoy those, but yeah, he's been around, so a lot of us know him, but yeah, it's been great having him.
Does he get down and do the push-ups too?
He has, yeah.
Okay. Well, then you can't complain too much if he's doing it. Final question, fill in the blank.
Okay.
This season will be a success if?
This season will be a success if we stick together. I think that if we all have each other's backs, we all push each other to be better, there's not much that we can't do this season. I think we can go really far.
Well, Natalie, certainly hoping that comes to fruition. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and have a great senior season.
Thank you.
Natalie DiGiorno talking Celtics women's soccer right here on the season preview. We roll along here on the season preview for Carlow women's soccer. I'm now joined by another senior, Haley Huber, taking the time to join us. I think we've done this a couple times before, so I know you are very familiar with these preseason interviews. Thank you so much for doing it once again.
Thank you for having me.
So last year you got a lot of opportunities, 66 shots, by far the most on the team. You had just one goal though. I'm sure there was some frustration. How did you handle that?
Last year it is what it is, and that's just, and it's in the past now, and it happens. It's gonna happen. It happens to professional players. You just have to, get past it by just the attitude and effort and continuing to better myself as a player on the field.
Overall, how did you evaluate your play last year?
I don't think, the statistics were there, but I don't think that defines me as a player. I think that my effort was still there. It just was unfortunate that it didn't always go in.
I know that you've battled some injuries throughout your career, have overcome those, but where do you think is maybe your biggest area of growth from the start of your college career up to this point?
I think the preparation, coming into the season, just fitness-wise, knowing what's expected of me and what I need to do to lift up others as well and get them on the same page.
What do you think maybe some of the team's strengths will be?
I just think we basically have a whole new team. We have half freshmen and half upperclassmen. I think just new energy and new opportunities, and I think that they're gonna motivate us as well as us leading them.
Well, you mentioned a lot of newcomers, a roster turnover. With that in mind, what have you set for team goals and for individual goals for 2022?
I think just overall, I'm not so much worried about individual. Of course, I always, you always want goals, assists, to be on the board. But I think overall, just having a winning season in general, and just leading these girls and leaving a mark on the team, and trying to change the Carlow culture in general.
Who do you think maybe are some players that might have breakout seasons?
I think Erin Thompson, whenever she comes back, as she's recovering from an ACL tear, and I think she's really excited and ready to get back at it, and I think she's going to do very well when she comes back out there.
You're a senior. I know you talked a little bit about leadership, especially with the younger players. How do you kind of build chemistry with your teammates away from the field?
I think one of the biggest things is the away trips and our bus rides. We always have a good time there. We've done things on away trips, like going to escape rooms and just doing little team pizza parties and stuff like that. So I think we're very close as a team.
Is there one person who is absolutely the best at escape rooms that you all look to figure things out?
No, I think it takes
You're
all
all
of us.
really
I
good.
think it takes
Okay.
it takes a village to get through that escape room.
So there's been a change in college soccer rules this year. There's not going to be overtimes anymore in the regular season. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think that just means that we have to work harder to get that win before the end of the game. And, a tie is better than a loss. So if we end up in a tie, then that's fine with me. It's better than a loss. But
Allen Duda's been the head coach your entire time here. What are his best qualities?
I think just his passion for the game. He's always out there with us, like getting us very competitive with each other when he's out there on the field with us, and you can just tell that he loves the game. He's very approachable and understanding, and I just think he brings that like family aspect to our team and brings us together.
Lastly, I think you probably have good perspective on this because you started out elsewhere collegiately. What's your favorite aspect of being here at Carlow University?
Playing at Highmark. The atmosphere is just amazing here, and other than soccer-wise, I love the nursing program and being in the city.
Well, Haley, thanks so much for doing this. I'm thinking this is the last time we'll have you for a season preview interview, but you never know. You have another year of eligibility if you want to use it. Haley Huber, a senior for the Celtics, right here on the season preview.
Thank you for having me.